they buy a stock and they say, oh yeah, well, we'll sell it when it goes super high. And then first once it goes high, no, I'm not going to sell it. And then once it goes down low, oh, well, I can't sell it now. It's too low. Well, yeah, okay, that was not the point.
Yeah.
The point was to convert that into money for you at some point. Welcome to Wealth Creator Radio, where we help people overcome the uncertainty of having enough retirement income. I'm your host, Eric Heckman, a certified financial planner with over 30 years of experience. We want you to enjoy life and not have to wonder where your money will come from and how long it'll last. My mission is to show you how to develop a personalized income plan so you can retire more and have worry less wealth. Here at Wealth Creator Radio, we cut through the noise and get straight to what matters. We understand that the world of retirement planning can be filled with confusing products, ever-changing tax laws, and volatile markets. That's why we're here to help successful people like you navigate the uncertainty and create a blueprint for a thriving, work-optional life.
Welcome to Wealth Creator Radio. Do you think you know how much you'll need for the retirement you deserve? Today, we have Eric Heckman here, and he is going to help you understand what the true cost of retirement could be. Eric is president of Heckman Financial right here in Silicon Valley, and he's going to show you what the true cost of retirement could be and ways to possibly preserve that lifestyle that you've earned, we like to say. So here's that phone number as we get started, 800-454-1184. You may call or text the word visit for a complimentary appointment. 800-454-1184. You're going to hear us talk about the digital toolbox that you can get. It includes Eric's book and other informative resources for your retirement. Our show comes out on podcast every Tuesday morning, so find it wherever you listen to your podcast or go to YouTube. Just search for Wealth Creator Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. Eric, so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, Luann. There's a lot of definitely crazy stuff going on in Washington, and
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. It's to me, it's not about the first effect, but it's the second, third, or fourth effect. So, like, I've got a client who, she really likes to go to the national parks, and so she's planning on going to 5 different parks. Well, all of a sudden now she's getting notices that campgrounds are closed and things are other things are going to be shut down. And okay, well, maybe she won't drive and spend all that money along the way and spend the money at those parks. And sadly, those parks were actually highly profitable for the government.
Right.
So they weren't money losing; they were actually a money making source of revenue. So. But all those kind of downstream effects is also those people who got laid off. Where do they go? I mean, how many places can you be a park ranger?
Right. I know. Yeah.
It's a very, very, very set area, right?
Yeah,
type of skill.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Obviously, tariffs are just a tax on consumers. So, that's another thing that, Warren Buffett calls them a act of war. So, economic war, basically. So, they're on and off, and who knows where they're at. So, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but there are some ways to protect yourself. There's some ways to guarantee some of your funds and protect it from the downside. And, I think more than ever, this is a great time to be doing that because of, one thing that nobody's talking about is really trying to pay down the deficit or stop putting everything on the government credit card in terms of all our spending. So, taxes are going to be a huge thing in retirement. And that's obviously part of the thing we're talking about today is spending. Mm-hmm. And, if you make 1% more, okay, you got a tiny bit more. But if you save 5 or 10% or 20% on taxes, you've got a lot more money. And so that's really what the goal is, I think, for most people who are retiring is, how do you protect the money from dropping and how do you lower your tax hit?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's the thing we have to do because the government debt, it just keeps, going up and up and up. And we know it's going to fall on us, the American people. What I want to talk about right now, though, Eric, is this whole spending in retirement. It's so funny. People think they're going to spend less in retirement, I guess. So you often hear people saying, oh, I'll probably spend 80% of my working, income that I did in retirement. Why is it so hard to figure out what you're going to spend in retirement?
Well, first of all, I always like to remind people you got 7 days a weekend, not 2.
Right.
Right, when you're retired. So,
exactly.
So those things that maybe you're a golfer and you like to golf once or twice a week. Well, now you could be doing 4 or 5 times. So
Yeah, why
does that
not,
cost
right?
you extra, right? Maybe you like to travel. Well, now you can travel a whole bunch more. So, there's a lot of things that do cost money that will raise, your expenses in retirement. Now, some people maybe just, more people who like to stay around the house and do things there. Well, maybe you're not spending quite as much, but, you do have more time to go out. You do have more time to, do fun things, and then there's some stuff that people just forget about. Usually most people who are employees, they don't pay out of their take home pay for health insurance. They often pay some out of their paycheck, but, it's not the money you live on, right? You live
Right.
on the net pay, not the gross pay. And so that's one thing to add it back in is having that Medicare Part A, Part A, B, D, and supplement, right? All those fun things. I mean, A is free, but
Yeah.
the other ones you pay for. And so that's one item. And then also people don't realize that if you're taking out 2,000 out of your IRA, it's not 2,000. It's more like 1,700 or 1,600 or even less. So you have to take out that tax hit. So there is a lot more that people need to be paying attention to. And we all kind of make this mistake. We all think we're going to spend a lot less, but most of us don't even know what we're spending now. And so I find that's the biggest problem. So I like to use what we call the no BS budget. And the no BS budget is basically you look at your last 12 months of spending. If you're, look at your bank statement, add up all the withdrawals, divide by 12. And that's really what you took out. If hopefully you're paying off that credit card every month out of that same checking account. So you don't even have to look at your credit card statement. And, that's it. I guarantee you it'll be an eye-opening experience. Nobody ever gets the number right. So it's always higher than they thought. So, that's why we want to really try to help educate people and figure out what's going on because of, how much will I spend? Will my money last in retirement? When should I time my Social Security? How much taxes am I paying in retirement? Well, those are all quick 10 to 15 page white papers that we have set up for you to educate yourself on what's out there. And also a link to set up a time to meet with me, Eric Heckman. And how you get this link? Well, it's super easy. You just text the word toolbox to 800-454-1184. Again, text the word toolbox, 800-454-1184. Or download directly at wealthcreatorradio.com.
And I want to remind you, Eric is a certified financial planner. His goal is to help people have remarkable retirements. Oh my gosh, he's been doing this for over 30 years, and it is his goal to help 1,001 people retire by 2031. They do this by helping people every day, and they get that wisdom as far as understanding the ins and outs of it. You and I, we're going to retire once. That's what we want, one time. They have retired time and time again with other individuals. And as Eric has said in the past, our system is working very well. If you have questions about retirement, they have answers for you. I guarantee you they can get answers for you. So thank you for joining us. This is Wealth Creator Radio, and I'm Luann Fulmer. We're talking about just what you're going to spend in retirement. And another thing, Eric, is that people are living so much longer. On average, should we all be planning for a longer retirement?
Yeah, I would definitely plan for at least 30 years.
Wow.
I mean, it's crazy how many people I run into now in their 70s that have their parents still around.
Yeah, right.
And you're just going to go, well, hold on. How old's your, like, 102. It's like, what?
What?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, no, yeah, you definitely need to be planning for a 30-year retirement for sure.
Okay. And then with that, then we have to think about healthcare and long-term care, right? Because according to the National Council on Aging, people turning 65 today have nearly a 70% chance of needing long-term care in retirement.
Yeah, and that's what used to kill us now just slows us down, and I don't know if that's great or what that is, right? But,
right.
Some stuff's good, but some stuff, some of the side effects aren't as good, right? So having some money set aside, having that just really into your plan, it is super critical because of we're all living longer. There's some stuff that you have to account for, right? Long-term care, inflation, taxes, those are things that all are part of an income plan. And when you see it as part of an income plan, it's really easy to do an analysis and easy to figure this out. So, that's what we do here at Heckman Financials. We help people build that blueprint to worry less wealth. And it's something we can help you do. But one of the easiest things to start off with is just getting that data, getting that information, and just seeing what's out there. So, that's why we put up a couple great pieces there to some really fast reads for you to get some education. You can even get a copy of my book, Worry Less Wealth, and set a time with talk with me, Eric Heckman. So all you got to do is text the word toolbox to 800-454-1184. Again, text the word toolbox 800-454-1184 or download directly at wealthcreatorradio.com.
Be sure to like and subscribe to Wealth Creator Radio so you can stay up to date on ways to build your wealth and create a retirement you and your family will enjoy for years to come. Like and subscribe today and create your wealth for tomorrow with Wealth Creator Radio.
Gone are the days when retirees could rely heavily on external support like Social Security and corporate pension plans, right? Today, not only are those pensions a fading memory, but, the reliability of Social Security benefits, that's coming under concern as well. And so there's a lot of burden on securing a financially stable retirement, right? On people, on individuals. Eric, as a financial advisor, what do you feel are some of the greatest risks that threaten financial security for retirement?
Well, I think, one of them, of course, is like what you mentioned there, is not having income, right? Because it's not about just, it's points on the scoreboard, basically, when you're building up your assets, right? It doesn't really matter how much money you get off of them because, you're working, right?
Mm-hmm.
But second you stop working, it's all about having some sort of income planned and where's that money going to come from? So, so just knowing that alone is a big one. And like you said, most of us don't have pensions anymore. So it's just Social Security, which also has, admitted having problems for years in 2035, which sounds like a long time from now, but it's getting a lot closer.
Yes,
and there's still nobody fixing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't live on everything being in the market because we all know those bad years come, and usually you get 2 to 3 bad years out of every decade. And if those happen to be your first years, that can be really bad if you had to cash in a bunch of stuff and sell off those shares, because those shares don't recover after that. And so, you do need to have some foundational money, some money that's guaranteed, that's going to be there every single year, that doesn't drop, but still can earn higher interest than bonds and, money markets and such. Obviously, things get more expensive over time with inflation. So you just always have to have that in the plan. And then healthcare is one that, I don't think enough people really fully appreciate how expensive it is. Dental plans for, retirees are really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then we're not even talking about, long-term care and other things like that. So, just something that you have to be really planning this all out. And so it's not something you want to just jump into and then find out. You want to plan ahead.
Exactly. So, you just listed several risks that retirees are going to face. One of them is, of course, we talk about this all the time, living a long time in retirement. In your experience, Eric, you're working with retirees every day. Which issue do you find most retirees struggling with as far as planning for their financial security?
Well, obviously things do change over time. And now that I've been doing this for over 30 years, I actually have clients that have been retired for 20 plus,
Wow.
which is kind of weird, actually. Right. But, I had one client that, she even told me, she's like, tell people that, what I thought I needed to retire on is almost doubled. And that's typically what does happen over about 20 years. Things double in costs. And so, if you're not planning that ahead of time and you're just going to all of a sudden wake up and go, hold it, I'm living on this, set income, and my money's not, my expenses are doubling, but my income's not. So that's one of the big things. And a lot of that, of course, is people live a lot longer, right? So, one of the craziest ones I just recently had was somebody who was 75. The daughter called me because she said her mom just inherited this money. And I'm like, oh, how old's your mom? She said 75. I'm like, so how old was your grandma?
Yeah.
Well, 103.
Whoa.
So if some people are waiting for their inheritance to retire, well, if you get your inheritance, when you're 70 or 80, you might be working for a really long time. So I wouldn't quite count on that as much. But what used to be a 10 to 15 year, 20-year retirement, now I think for a lot of people it's going to be 30 or maybe even 40. So for at least one of you, if you're married, right, the stats go a lot higher. So yeah, that's one of those things where, do you have that all planned out? And, also what happens after one spouse passes? I mean, we run into this all the time, unfortunately, with people just doing really bad decisions or not good with their money. I mean, I, had a client that literally had never used an ATM. I mean, this is just a couple of years ago. This is not, in the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
But her husband just always took money out for her and stuff. She didn't even know how to check her bank account balance, and now she's supposed to pay the bills and take care of everything, right? So that's the hard part is, more than likely, one of you is gonna, if you're married, is gonna live a lot longer than the other one, and is there going to be as much money, right? Because there's going to be only one Social Security check, not two. You keep the higher of the two, which is nice at least.
Yeah.
But the smaller one goes away. And then, where's that money going to come from? How's it going to last for the rest of your life? Those are the issues that you need to do. So here at Heckman Financial, what we did is we built this blueprint to worry less wealth, because we want you to worry less about your money and enjoy retiring more. And so, with that, you first have to have that customized income plan, because that's where everything starts. If you don't have income, you're just basically unemployed, right?
Yeah.
You need to have a way to get money. And then, how are those investments now going to shift to give you that income? And then also, what's the tax ramifications from the different types of money, right? IRAs, 401ks, your regular dollars, all that stuff. The healthcare issues along the way, and then legacy, who's going to get your money after you're gone. So, we've built that all into our digital toolbox. And so that's one of the things that we can do is, give you a lot of downloads, a lot of great information, some really quick reads of 10 to 15 pages of will your money last as long as you do, Social Security timing decisions, all these great things, a copy of my book, Worry Less Wealth, and even a place to set a time to talk with me. And so if you want to go check all that out, it's great tools and great things to learn about. And I think everything should start with education first. So get yourself educated by just texting the word toolbox to 800-454-1184. Again, text word toolbox, 800-454-1184, or download directly at wealthcreatorradio.com.
And we thank you so much for joining us. You're listening to Wealth Creator Radio with Eric Heckman, Heckman Financial, on the air every single weekend because he is so passionate about helping retirees like you. So, Eric, what steps can our listeners take to ensure that their hard-earned retirement savings is going to provide that income needed throughout all of their retirement years?
Well, so I mentioned it just a bit ago there, that customized income plan, personalized and customized to you and your situation. So, a couple things. One is what do you spend, right? So that's always a hard one. Everybody lies, not intentionally. But, I tell people usually it's off by 20 to 40%. And I just had another one last week where they found out they're spending $13,000, not $10,000 a month.
Oh,
and
my.
Hey, there's 30%. I'm like, oh, you nailed the 20 to 40, right? Dead center. And that's one of the first things to do is look at your last 12 months of spending in your checking account, add up all those withdrawals, divide by 12. So all your withdrawals, divide by 12. If you're paying off your credit card every month with that checking account, you don't even need to look at your credit card statement. It's all there, just in your bank. And, that's the real no lie, how much you spent. And often it's like, yikes, what? I spent that much?
Mm-hmm.
But you need to know that. And, and so then once you have that, then you can figure out, okay, where's that income going to come from? A little bit from Social Security, but where's the rest, right? Do you have some guaranteed lifetime income? Do you have set up any personal style pensions, like, for yourself? How are you going to withdraw that money? Is it going to be subject to market volatility? Because that's not good. So you have to have all that planned out. And that's what we do here at Heckman Financial.
Well, obviously, tailored advice is what we all need. And that is something that you do, right? You do a personalized retirement income plan for people. Yeah,
exactly. So we'll sit down and we'll run that income plan out. And it's kind of like if you're driving from San Jose to LA, we're going to tell you if the Sierra's in front of you, then you need to turn right because you're going the wrong way. We'll also tell you, hey, there's, maybe an accident up ahead. You might want to get off on the side road or, whatever issues, right? We're going to do the same thing with your income plan. We're just going to show you where you're headed today. And, it's either a good answer or a bad answer. If you run out of money, it's a bad answer.
Right.
But at least you know that now, and then you can maybe adjust things or just when you want to retire or just, spending levels or other things or downsizing. There's lots of options, right? So, yeah, I mean, once you have that plan, then you can figure out where all the money should be going to after that. And so that's the problem is I think most people are hung up on, what's the hot stock, or should I be doing Bitcoin, or should I be doing, XYZ investment, and, whatever the hot thing of the day is. And that's the wrong way to do it. It's first of all, let's have a plan. And once you have the plan, go, oh, does this fit into my plan? If it doesn't, then, you know the answer right away. Right. So, but that's the hard part is people don't start with that planning attitude in first. So, one of the things, again, that we've set up there is, place for you to set a time to talk with me if you want to just have some questions answered. But also beyond that, we've got a lot of great downloads and even a copy of my book, Worry Less Wealth. So all you have to do is text the word toolbox to 800-454-1184. Again, text the word toolbox, 800-454-1184, or you can download directly at wealthcreatorradio.com.
If something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. There's a particular time of life this phrase couldn't be more appropriate. How can you know you'll live the retirement you've always imagined? After all, life can be so unpredictable. You've worked hard and saved. Watch your accounts go up and down with the market. Your advisor says, don't worry, you'll be fine. But you still don't feel confident. Eric Heckman at Heckman Financial has a checklist to help you find out if you're on the right track for retirement. If you can check all the boxes with confidence, you may be ready for retirement. If not, Eric can help you address any potential costly mistakes. To get Eric Heckman at Heckman Financial's complimentary checklist, call or text LIST to 800-454-1184. Call or text LIST to 800-454-1184. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through Heckman Financial and Insurance Services, Inc. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hey, thanks so much for spending part of your day with us. I'm Lou Ann Fulmer here with Eric Heckman. And I do want to mention Eric holds many events throughout the year. You can get those details and sign up for them on the website, wealthcreatorradio.com. And another way is just RSVP. Text those letters to 800-454-1184 and register. So just text RSVP 800-454-1184 to get signed up for some events. So as we are entering retirement and, these stages of life, the financial landscape becomes a little more complex. We've got rising inflation. You just mentioned it, Eric. A lady said she was paying double what she started out paying in retirement. Of course, we have stock market risk and then taxes. Of course, those are changing always. So I thought we could explore how retirees can best manage these financial pressures. Let's start off with the challenge of the stock market and its volatility. Eric, tell us how you help them with that.
Yeah, well, there's the whole adage of, just hang in there, right? It'll come back. Just wait for it to come back. And, you've probably heard that for 20, 30, 40 years, right? Yeah. And, okay, sounds fine. But what happens when you need that money tomorrow, next month? The month after, you can't just hang in there. You need a check. You need to pay your bills, right? And so that advice is actually pretty horrible advice for anybody who's actually already retired. Yes, you don't want to freak out every time the market goes up and down, but you also can't have your spending level being based off of the stock market, because if every time the market dips, you're going to cash in shares. And when it's down, you're going to have to sell more shares. And then, of course, when it recovers, those shares never come back because you spent them, right? Mm-hmm. So there's two things. One is, of course, de-risking your retirement a little bit, right? Lowering that risk score down. So it's one of the things we do is we have people find out what their risk score is. It's a measurement from 1 to 100, and getting the highest grade on this test is not a good thing. So it just means you're the most risky, and it may work and it may fail, horribly, but it'll be one of the two and not much in between, right? We want to lower down that risk score, especially as you get older. But really what you want to do is you want to add two things that most people don't focus on. One is having about 10 to 20% of your money into what I call steady income investments. So the steady income stuff that will pay you really good dividends and has low volatility. So as it's paying that money either monthly or quarterly, that's cash flow sitting there. That's money that you can now take out of that money market not cashing in shares every month. So that obviously helps, for those ups and downs of the market. And then the other is for foundational money. There's some great, great foundational money options out there that their rates are based on the stock market indexes, but you don't go down when the markets go down. You may not get all the ups, but you'll get most of it. And so it's a way to get some money that is going to be there always, that you can take out so much every year to kind of fund your expenses. And then that lets you ride those ups and downs. But yeah, if you have 100% of your money in the stock market, like most people do in their 401ks, that is super, super scary in retirement.
Yeah, super scary. All right. Very good that you help people with that. I like how you help people come up with that steady income. That's great. Another concern for retirees, as I mentioned, is, we know that taxes are going to go up in retirement. So, if your plan is based on the current tax rate, well, things are going to change. So tell us how you safeguard retirees and their finances against the rising taxes that are sure to happen.
Yeah, well, just, if you ever go to nationaldebtclock.org, it's a kind of a depressing website. It just shows you all the numbers getting higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
And the amount of trillions that we've added on since 2017 is just, mind blowing. I mean, we've over doubled, gone up by 50%, I should say, the national debt, and it's getting close to doubling. And that's just in a short, time period there. And compared to the previous, 10 or 15 years before that, I mean, it's definitely sped up a lot. And the politicians really aren't looking to pay off the debt or start paying our bills. So we know there's going to be some huge bill coming due that we all end up owing. And so what's the easiest way? Well, one thing is I like to call it rule out tax hikes forever. Most people call it Roth. If you can convert some more money to Roth, you can move some more funds over there, then you've gotten rid of the taxes permanently. So that's one way. Specially designed life insurance is one way to cut out tax hikes. Also usually gives you some long-term care protections, but everything has to be tax focused. And one of the crazy, crazy, crazy things I think about my industry is there's so many people who say, "Oh, we can't give you tax advice." Well, yeah, you can. You can go out and get educated on taxes and get licensed for taxes like I did, and then you can actually do tax advice because I think you have to. I mean, it's just like, you don't see a doctor being a left side doctor and then you have to go talk to the right side doctor. That makes no sense, right?
No.
I mean, yes, they're specialists, but they still need to look at the whole body, right? And the same thing here. You have to look at your whole financial situation, and taxes are a monster part of everything that's going on in your situation for sure.
Yeah, that's so good. I love your rule out tax hikes forever. I love that. Okay, so obviously the pressing challenge of inflation, that's going to happen in retirement, as we mentioned. How do you help your retirees adjust to their financial plans? And, we obviously want to maintain our standard of living throughout retirement. So how do you guys work with them on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, getting a realistic, number, which I always harp on because everybody always has the wrong number of how much money they spend. And especially when you have 7 days a weekend and not 2, you've got a lot more time to spend money, right? So that's one of the things that you really want to be paying attention to. Secondly would be just, once you figure out that spending level, that no BS budget, again, that's taking the last 12 months withdrawals from your checking, divide by 12, and that's how much you spend. But we want to make sure, you have that calculated in there. You want to have a fund, as I like to call it. Have that budgeted into the plan. And then, also you want to have some, those things that only happen once a year that happen every year, right? It's like, how could you have one-time expenses keep happening? Well, that's what happens, right? If you own a house or something like that, right? There's always something. And you want to have that budgeted in there too. And then have that all growing with inflation, with taxes. Once you have all that information in there, then you can know how the money's going to last. Will it be there as long as you will? Did you make the right Social Security decision? And those, ironically, are all names of downloads that we have, 10 or 15 page downloads at our Toolbox site. So, all you have to do is text the word Toolbox to 800-454-1184. Again, text the word Toolbox, 800-454-1184. Text word Toolbox. Get access to all that great info. Place to download my book, Worry Less Wealth. and even set a time to talk with me, Eric Heckman, and we can go over any questions you got. You can also get all that at wealthcreatorradio.com.
I love that. And we just thank you so much for joining us. You're listening to Wealth Creator Radio with Eric Heckman. One of those reports is that Social Security's decision, and everybody kind of needs some, I think, guidance with that. You shouldn't go it alone. Tell us how you help people optimize Social Security, Eric.
Well, I mean, first of all, just having a realistic discussion about it, because I think one of the biggest problems that people do is they do the false math of, if I take my Social Security at, say, 65, 67, whatever the earlier age you're talking about, and compare it to taking it at 70, and then usually sometime when you're 80, it crosses over, and that's where the break even is. That would be accurate for just Social Security dollars. However, that's not the right question. The correct question should be, which one gives me more net worth by 80, 85, or 90? And that's the question nobody ever asks. And that's really what you meant to ask, but you just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So, because if you retire, say at 67, and you don't get that $3,000 a month for 36 months, which if you do the math, that's a little over $100,000, but you did retire. So it's not like we're comparing you working 3 more years or something like that. No, we're saying no matter what, you retire at 67. One is you're taking 3,000 out of some other place. Or the other option is, you've got this money coming in. And, so when I do that math, about 2/3 of the time, actually, it makes more sense to start earlier. It totally counter to what everybody else says about waiting later. So, but again, it goes specifically to your plan and your custom stuff. So that's why you need to have that personalized, customized income plan. That's what we do here at Heckman Financial. So, if that's something you want to take advantage of, you can just set up a time with me, Eric Heckman. All you have to do is text the word visit to 800-454-1184. Again, text the word visit, 800-454-1184, or book it online at wealthcreatorradio.com.
Imagine for a moment that an intense storm is pounding your house. Will the roof leak? Will the siding peel away? Will your basement flood? If your house is properly built and maintained, you'll be fine. But what about your 401k or your investments? The stock market has had a great run the last few years, but is its current turmoil making you feel uneasy? Are you confident your portfolio is built to weather the financial storm? Now may be a great time to have your retirement plan inspected. Call Eric Heckman of Heckman Financial at 800-454-1184 now. Eric will examine your portfolio and show you if your investments are in need of some weatherproofing. Call Eric Heckman of Heckman Financial today at 800-454-1184. That's 800-454-1184. Investment advisory services offered through Heckman Financial Insurance Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm Luann Fulmer here with Eric Heckman, and we are going to put Eric to the test right now with a round of retirement trivia. We've done this before, Eric. This week, our topic is going to be taxes. So it's really a multiple choice trivia, so it's not that difficult, but some of them are history. Don't expect you to know them all. So we're not going to give Eric a hard time if he doesn't know all of them. But are you ready for this, Eric?
Yep, let's go for it.
Okay, so if you get it right, you're going to hear the sounder that's correct. If you get them wrong, all right, you know how it goes. So, okay, here we go. First question. About how many words are in the U.S. tax code? A, 1 million, B, 1,000, C, 4 million, or D, 6,000? You may know this because you're a tax guy.
Yeah, I don't say like 10 million, but I guess we'll go with C. It's the highest number.
Oh, yeah. Good job. You are correct. 4 million. Yeah. So tell us about the tax code. It is long, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's crazy how 70,000 pages long. And I guess if you added up all Shakespeare's words, it's only 900,000. So he's got nothing on the tax code.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a shame it can't be simpler. But all right, that's why we hire the professionals, right? To help us out, because we certainly couldn't understand all the rules by ourselves. Okay, here, so you are 1 for 1. Yay, 1 for 1. All right, here's another question for you. What year did the IRS begin requiring taxpayers to list their dependents' social security numbers? A, 1987, B, 1960, C, 2001, or D, 1945?
Well, I would have actually said the 70s because I remember actually as a kid getting my Social Security card.
Yeah.
You didn't get it when you were born back then. So. But yeah, so I guess we have to go with 87 then.
1987, yes. So tell us about that. That's when they started requiring Social Security numbers of dependents.
Yeah, and then the crazy part is IRS said 7 million children disappeared from tax returns when that happened.
What? That's
in other words, that many people were lying about having a dependent.
Oh my gosh.
And now we've gotten rid of some tax, IRS people. So who knows?
Well, yeah,
we'll see how that goes back up.
Yeah, exactly. This next, so you're 2 for 2 in our tax trivia game here. Next one's true or false. So 50-50 here. More than 20% of returns filed on paper have at least one error. Is that A, true, or B, false?
Probably say at least, definitely true on that one.
Yep. Okay, so how is that?
Well, so hard copies tend to have more just because of they don't have the fact checking, but the number of hard copies has got to be going down. It's getting to be so few now.
True. So okay, very good. All right, so you're 3 for 3. You're doing great. Okay, 3 for 3. And next question, also a true false. IRS has more people working for it than the Federal Bureau of Investigation. A, true, B, false.
Well, that was probably true. They were supposed to hire a bunch under Biden. They didn't really get there. And then, of course, they just lost a bunch under Trump. So, it's definitely true. But
it is true? Okay.
Yeah.
And you're correct. All right. So,
we'll see how that plays out.
I guess.
It seems like everybody's dropping down employment. So,
So FBI has 37,000 employees, I guess. So, okay. So here we go. You are 4 for 4. Man, you are good. Look at you. Number 5. What famous arena is exempt from property taxes? A, Matthews Arena, Boston. B, Madison Square Garden, New York. C, Sphere, Paradise, Nevada. D, Wrigley Field, Chicago. What say you?
I don't know. That one's a little funky. So we'll go with Wrigley Field just because it's the oldest.
Wrigley Field. Yeah. No, it's Madison Square Garden. And that arena has been exempt from New York property taxes since 1982. Listen to this. The agreement was only supposed to be for 10 years, but it was worded incorrectly. So the exemption is going to be in effect for as long as the Knicks and the Rangers keep playing their home games there.
Yeah, a little crazy.
Yeah, a little crazy. So let's just pause for a moment. You did great. You did 4 out of 5. I'm going to give you a bonus round here in a minute. But first, I want to take a moment here to talk about how you guys at Heckman Financial work with retirees and you help people with their tax strategies. And I'm not talking tax preparation. I mean, you do that as well. But we're talking for retirees, tax planning, and that's looking forward. So tell us about that, how that fits into your retirement plan.
Yeah, well, one of the ridiculous things I always hear is there's a lot of studies that say, the most expensive thing that you're going to spend on in retirement is healthcare. Well, no. Why are they ignoring taxes? I have no idea. But taxes are hands down the number one thing that everybody's going to pay for. Some people just get run over by the Amazon van, right? Or whatever. So they may not have much healthcare expense, but they still had a lot of tax expense. And, so taxes are the number one hit to retirement. And, again, if you make 1 or 2% more, that's great. But if you save 5 or 10% on all of your retirement money on taxes, that is a huge return. And so that's what really people need to be focusing on is how do you lower not your annual tax, but how do you lower your lifetime taxes. And that's really what we're looking at. So you can't do that just, like looking at one tax return, right? That's just not going to work. You have to look at it over using an income plan that shows your money running from now throughout the end of your life, and then saying, okay, here's the cumulative taxes you're going to pay. But if we make some tweaks here and here, we make some little changes, does that, raise or lower that income, that lifetime taxes? And, does have you get more income? Does have you get more money, right? And so that's what we're really doing. But again, you have to have it as part of that overall income plan. And if you don't have an income plan, I don't know how you do it. So it's pretty simple. So, so if that's something you want to get a little bit more information on, you want to set up a time to talk with me. What we do is we set up a 15 to 30-minute phone call just to see, what kind of concerns you have, what kind of things are going on. If you want to meet in person or Zoom, we can do that too. Super easy. All you have to do is text the word visit to 800-454-1184. Again, text word visit to 800-454-1184, or book directly online at wealthcreatorradio.com.
And you're listening to Wealth Creator Radio. I'm Lou Ann Fulmer. So happy to have you along with us today. All right, Eric, let's finish our tax trivia game. So far, you are 4 out of 5 correct. And those were kind of hard questions because a lot of them were just, history questions. This next one, it's a multiple choice. This is your bonus round. Okay, so if you get it right, I'm going to give you 2 points. How's that? 2 points if you get it right. Which famous criminal went to jail for tax evasion? Was it A, John Dillinger, B, Ronald Cray, C, Pablo Escobar, or D, Al Capone?
It's pretty famous that Al Capone, just a little bit north of us, hung out in Alcatraz. And the only reason they got him was because of, they couldn't get him on all the other stuff he was doing, but when you don't report your illegal activities on your tax return, which would be very hard to do, but if you don't report them, then it is illegal.
Wow. So he had a prison sentence of 11 years or something? So he was not in jail for murder, even though he was a mobster. That's crazy. But he died in prison, didn't he? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. So.
Yep. So that tells you, make sure your taxes are done. Make sure your taxes are complete.
Yep.
Hopefully we're not talking to people who are doing a lot of illegal stuff.
Oh, no.
But I guess if you do, make sure you report it on your taxes, which just, again, sounds very odd.
Right.
but again, no, if you want to set up a time to talk and try to lower those taxes and keep yourself, I guess, out of jail too, then there's legal ways to lower your taxes and that don't send you to jail. All you have to do is, if you want to set up a time to talk, is text the word visit to 800-454-1184. Again, text word visit 800-454-1184, or book directly online at wealthcreatorradio.com.
Thinking about healthcare costs, long-term care expenses, and income needs in retirement? How will you afford it all? And what can you do now to help ensure your loved ones will be okay when you're gone? Eric Heckman at Heckman Financial has access to tools and strategies that can help you pursue your retirement dreams without taking on too much risk with your money. Interest rates are the highest they've been in decades, so take advantage of this seemingly once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to help protect your retirement before it's gone. Learn about the tools and features available today that could provide bonuses, potentially adding up to tens of thousands of dollars in additional income when medical needs arise. Schedule your visit with Eric Heckman at Heckman Financial today by calling 800-454-1184. That's 800-454-1184. These opportunities won't last forever, so call now to help protect your future. 800-454-1184.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Lou Ann Fulmer here with Eric Heckman. And now Eric is going to give us a wealth success story from a retiree or a couple. This is always a great lesson, a really good example for us to see how things can work out for the best for retirees. So I can't wait to hear what you have for us today, Eric.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one's, I guess, a couple different people's stories.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so, I had some clients recently that I don't know if you just call it lucky or what, has to be lucky, really. They just happened to buy, a Tesla back in 2011 for almost nothing and, shot up a ton. And then, it was going up after the election. And then, we said, well, okay, things are going a little weird. So we started putting some stop losses in, and, those triggered. And, meaning stop loss is basically when you say, let's sell the stock at a certain number. And, you'll just, if it drops below that number, it triggers it and sells it off. And and protects you from having a huge loss. And so, they sold it, within weeks of it dropping over $100 more a share from where they sold it. So if they had wrote it down, it would have been pretty ugly. And,
right.
I've had some other clients that, sometimes it's lucky, right? You just happen to pick a good stock. Sometimes it's, you worked for a great company. I've got one client that's been in Apple for a long time, and we just kind of have a thing where we sell off 10 to 15% every single year. And some years he's got less Apple. Sometimes he actually ends up with more. So it's done very well.
Yeah.
But there's also other clients that those stocks never did come back, right? And so had they not sold, had they wrote it up and back down, unfortunately, right? That's what happens to a lot of people. They buy a stock and they say, oh yeah, well, we'll sell it when it goes super high. And then of course, once it goes high, no, I'm not going to sell it. And then once it goes down low, oh, well, I can't sell it now. It's too low. Well, yeah, okay, that was not the point.
Yeah.
The point was to convert that into money for you at some point. So, so I think one of the biggest lessons really is for anybody who has gone through the process of figuring out the two critical things of anytime you buy an investment. One is, first of all, why are you buying that? Why that stock? Why that fund? Why that, whatever. And then secondly, under what circumstances are you going to get rid of that investment? Positive and negative, not just positive. You got to think of the negative too. And, and so that's one of the critical things because I've seen way too many times where people just ride the things right back down. And, they were a former millionaire, not a current one, right? Because they had the money and had they sold, but they didn't sell in time. And so, my clients who've had that kind of discipline, it's really worked out well. The ones that haven't, some worked and some haven't. And the ones that haven't are really pretty painful because, once you had a bunch and you lose it, it's pretty ugly. Thank you for tuning in to Wealth Creator Radio. I'm Eric Heckman, and it's been a pleasure guiding you towards a more confident and secure retirement. Remember, my responsibility is to always do what's right for you, our client. Together, we can cut out that fancy-sounding financial jargon that doesn't help and focus on what truly matters for your financial future. If you're ready to take control of your retirement planning and build a personalized income plan, contact us at 800-454-1184 and text the word Toolbox to schedule a complimentary consultation. If you're looking for more resources and tools to build your retirement future, don't forget to check out that Wealth Creator Toolbox, your toolkit for a secure and confident retirement journey. Until next time, retire more and worry less with Wealth Creator Radio.
Information provided during Wealth Creator Radio is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Individuals should thoroughly review the contract for specific details of the product features and costs. Income payments and withdrawals from deferred annuities are generally taxable as ordinary income in the year they are taken. Eric Heckman offers investment advisory services through Heckman Financial and Insurance Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Any tax advice given as part of this presentation is not intended to be used and cannot be used by the taxpayer for the purpose of avoiding tax penalties or promoting, marketing, or recommending to another party any matter or transaction addressed herein. The views and opinions expressed in the program are not necessarily those of the radio station or its sponsors, and they should not construe as legal, tax, or investment advice. You should always consult the appropriate advisor before making any financial decision.